Izuru Kira was born on the day of March 27th into a family of lesser nobility, with both of his parents having been dead since he was very young. On the day he first entered into the Shin'o Academy, he visited his parents' grave to tell them that he is going to the academy now. It is there that he met fellow student Renji Abarai when he fell out of a tree onto his parents' burial marker. Renji was scolded by Rukia Kuchiki for falling asleep in the tree while laying on a tree branch. Upon his entrance into the Shin'o Academy, Izuru was placed in the special accelerated class alongside Renji and Momo Hinamori. Later on that day, the students engaged in using Hado in their Kido class, with Izuru shockingly excelling over the rest of his class. However, he was only able to defend himself against the aggressive nature and fighting style of Renji in their Swordsmanship class. While the two were resting underneath a tree, Renji and Izuru had introduced themselves, and they had struck up a friendship with each other. It was also on this day that 5th Division Captain Sosuke Aizen and his lieutenant had just come to the academy to inspect the freshman class. 2 months later, however, the class was given permission to leave and go to the world of the living for a training session in Kanso. The training session was to be led by 6th-year student Shuhei Hisagi and 2 of his classmates, Kanazawa and Ioga. The fact that Hisagi was leading the mission caused quite a ruckus, which prompted Izuru to explain to Renji why Hisagi was so famous. Izuru then noted that he himself, as that year's top student, probably had more talent than Hisagi. The various students were then placed into 3-person teams, with Izuru and Renji being placed with Momo. The class then set out for the world of the living to begin their training mission. As the training session was coming to a close, the class was surprised when a hollow attacked them and killed Kanazawa. When Aoga saw this, he went to fight the hollow, but was also killed. Hisagi then called for all the students to fall back and run for their lives while he held the hollow off. When Momo stopped running, Izuru asked her why, to which she responded that she didn't understand why they were fleeing. Despite Izuru and Renji trying to reason with her, she went back to attack the hollow and save Hisagi. Realizing that there was no getting through to her, Izuru and Renji decided that they had to try and help her. Much to the surprise of Hisagi, the 3 of them appeared just in time to block the attacks of the hollow. Izuru asked for forgiveness for not following Hisagi's orders, and then congratulated Momo when she used Hado number 31 Shakaho. But to their surprise, the small victory was cut very short by the arrival of many more hollows. They were then saved by the timely arrival of Captain Sosuke Aizen and then Lieutenant Gin Ichimaru, who effortlessly took out all the hollows, while the 3 students stood amazed. After finally graduating from the Shin'o Academy, Izuru, along with Renji and Momo, was sent to the 5th Division where he stayed until Gin Ichimaru had become the captain of the 3rd Division. It is known that Izuru had spent some time in the 4th Division, as noted by Shuhei, and the fact that he carries medical implements like Shinten, a trait virtually exclusive to members of the 4th Division. Izuru Kira is seen as being a gloomy and introspective person and also not being easily able to socialize with others. He generally appears as being weak and indifferent, leading many to believe that he lacks the ability to be a leader. As an officer, he does not tend to inspire confidence or boost morale the way other lieutenants do. However, Izuru is loyal to both his friends and his duties. Despite the close friendship he shares with Momo Hinamori, Izuru shows that his loyalty to his former captain knows no boundaries when he defends his captain while she is in a grief-induced rage from her own captain's apparent death. Despite this, he calls himself a monster afterwards for raising his sword against her. Izuru considers the essence of war to be despair, as exemplified by the symbol of his division, the marigold. He also hates to fight, unless prompted to, or given orders. However, in combat, he shows ruthless determination. Izuru has shown himself remorseless with this, by beheading an opponent that was pleading for mercy. His personality flaws are also assets. His introspection coupled with his tendency to worry makes him indecisive, but it also makes him sensitive to unusual behavior. His loyalty to his division inspires him to great efforts in their defense, as seen when Momo attacks Gin Ichimaru, and again when Makoto Kabuni's attacks endanger other members of the 3rd Division. Izuru's current personality greatly differs from his days in the Shin'o Academy, where he was shown to be much happier and slightly cocky after noting that Shuhei Hisagi had failed his entrance exam twice, whereas Izuru passed at the top of his class by giving him the idea that his talent was greater. Izuru likes to write haiku, and he was also awarded for one of his pieces by the Seirei Communication, which is as follows. The persimmon tree bears fruit. The persimmon tree bears fruit again this year. His dislike for dried persimmon, a huge difference between him and his former captain, sheds some light on the background of the poem. He likes agar-agar instead. He also writes a serial novel book titled, I Want to Apologize to You. It runs in Seirei Communication, and every new chapter begins with a haiku piece. He is also the author of Haiku Time. He is even on good terms with fellow author Shuhei Hisagi, and in their free time, they both participate in gatherings of haiku lovers. It is also known that he is skilled in playing cat's cradle. In the anime, he also helps Ichigo out with his fights against the Bounce by saying that they are fighting the same enemy.